Weather breaks, suppose we'll have to keep heading east.
East? Into all that... That's civilization.
I know. The west is where our problems are worse.
Rockstar Games has a reputation of setting new standards for open-world games, and with Red Dead Redemption 2 they've done it again. The entire open world is a technical masterpiece and one of the most believable virtual worlds ever created. Complementing this is an incredibly polished world full of layered characters, each with purpose and desire. What makes the entire journey worthwhile is the fantastic story that keeps the player engaged throughout. What unfortunately holds back Red Dead Redemption 2 is the difficult controls and sacrificing convenience for realism. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes a lot of risk for a more realistic approach that doesn't always work, but the phenomenal story and the outstanding open world makes this a western no one should miss. Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place before the events of the previous game, with players taking control of Arthur Morgan, a loyal member of the Dutch van der Linde gang. The story follows the slow descent of the gang as they attempt to escape the US government, Pinkerton agents, and rival gangs that are actively hunting them after a job at Blackwater goes south. This entire adventure centers on survival, as the gang tries to find a way to escape their life as an outlaw for greener pastures. Unfortunately, that path requires a lot of money. Each one of Dutch's gang is layered, with their own backstory and reason for joining the gang. As you progress, new missions provide more insight into everyone. Each character is wonderfully voiced and adds flair to the overall incredible story. Arthur Morgan is an outstanding protagonist that's constantly tested throughout the game. It's made incredibly clear that he is trying to survive, but Rockstar gives the player enough choice to slightly alter Arthur without sacrificing his core values. However, what Red Dead Redemption 2 truly excels at is the incredible open world. Without a doubt, Red Dead Redemption 2's open world is one of the biggest technical marvels in video games. Not only does it have an overwhelming amount of activities and is visually impressive, but it's also one of the most believable open worlds in video games. NPCs not only go about their day, but will actively respond to the player's actions. You can kill someone and have their family hunt you down, save a man and have them unexpectedly reward you with a new item, or any multiple of things. Usually open worlds tend to break after you experience much of the dynamic activities, but Red Dead Redemption 2 has so many of them, some that are not one-off actions and others that have layered consequences to them, that generally makes this world feel alive. Much of the game is dedicated to showing what is possible in this large world. Bounties to hunt, places to rob, missions to undertake, and so many other activities are available to the player that can feel overwhelming. The game does a wonderful job of explaining the basics, especially through mission-guided tutorials. However, much of the more advanced options, such as selling valuable items and fast traveling, are left to the player to discover. Fortunately, the Red Dead community has been quick to discover these options and share it to everyone. Missions are varied and offer a wide range of activities, some shocking and others tedious. In one mission you could be part of a large shootout, and in another hunting down another bounty. Many of the activities are meant to serve a purpose, but most repeat the same process of having to ride from location to location, hoping that the dialogue doesn't get cut off early. Matching the right soundtrack and sound to each movement is a difficult task, but Rockstar has accomplished this with flying colors. Rarely was there a moment that didn't have a soundtrack that benefited the moment. Equally impressive was the sound design, with everything from walking on specific surfaces to the sound design of each gun is captured to perfection. Red Dead Redemption 2 adds a lot of realistic elements to the gameplay, a first for a Rockstar open world game. As part of the Dutch van der Linde gang, you're charged with providing assistance with food, medicine, and money while building upgrades for the camp. At first, it seems like a great way to showcase the growth and unity of the gang. However, it becomes quickly apparent that you're the only one providing these supplies, making you wonder what everyone else is doing. Rockstar has removed a lot of conveniences to complement the realistic gameplay mechanics. Everything from looting corpses to skinning animals has an animation that cannot be skipped or turned off. Fast traveling has also been greatly limited from the first game, allowing it to only be accessed from certain areas. This can lead to the player having to travel massive distances every single time. You have a limited amount of skins you can also carry, especially from larger animals, and you cannot run while in camps, with a lot of other smaller annoyances beginning to mount up as you progress through the game. You have to actively eat, rest, and groom yourself to keep yourself healthy. There's no leveling, and everything from stamina to health is determined whether you're fit, overweight, or underweight. You can improve your cores by running and using a variety of weapons, but most of your character statistics are determined by how well you are taken care of. This allows the player to travel throughout the world without much issue. This is also true of your horse. Unlike the first game, if your horse dies, it's gone for good. To make sure this system complements the gameplay, players must bond with their horse by riding, feeding, and brushing their hair to maintain their health and create a strong relationship to unlock special bonuses. At first, it can feel annoying, but eventually it becomes second nature. What is irritating is that you cannot call your horse from any location and must be within range for it to hear you, or you'll be stranded. While getting used to the realistic elements of Red Dead Redemption 2 do take a lot of time, they are complemented by the game's open world, which works with this realistic take. Unfortunately, the controls are one of the primary reasons that Red Dead Redemption can become easily frustrating. It lacks the precision and response you would expect from a title this technically advanced. It's common for the player's avatar to act erratically and often get stuck in the geometry, especially when trying to take cover. What complements this difficult control is the shooting. Red Dead Redemption 2's target reticle sways and bounces around unless you stand completely still, which can be incredibly infuriating during large firefights. You can press the trigger to fire once, but sometimes have to press it again in order to pull back the hammer before you can fire again. Deadeye, on the other hand, is incredibly responsive. You can choose between shooting consistently as long as you aim the targeting reticle over an enemy avatar, or you could just shoot for precision shots. Like every other core health stamina, Deadeye requires you to kill targets in order to recharge it in order to prevent you from overusing the special ability. If shooting wasn't a problem already, the game constantly puts your weapons away even when you're in active combat, and often unequips your weapons when you mount your horse. Since you can't carry every weapon, complementing the realistic approach, players can only choose 2 primary weapons and 2 secondary weapons. The issue with this being that you can unknowingly have your weapons unequipped every time you mount your horse. Red Dead Redemption 2 has so many incredible aspects: the story, open world, soundtrack, characters, but the most impressive feature out of everything is the first person view. For most of the game, the exception being specific cutscenes and quick time events, you can get right into the action, and it is absolutely amazing. You can see how much detail went into everything from the decorated walls inside of homes to the exploding heads when you shoot an enemy's head clean off their shoulders. It's such an amazing feature that playing through this mode makes the entire experience feel distinct and warrant an entire new playthrough if you want to experience Red Dead Redemption 2 completely differently. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most technically impressive games this generation. The graphics alone are absolutely outstanding, making it seem like you're playing on a high-powered PC instead of a gaming console. What unfortunately holds back this utterly amazing game with such a fantastic story, soundtrack, characters, and other amazing details is the vexing controls and shooting system. Despite this, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most utterly amazing games this generation, and if you own an Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you must buy this game and experience it.
You ain't much of a man. If you ask folks for forgiveness, you remember this, partner. I've already forgotten. Now, sure, how much was you offering?
$50. Here.
Thank you. Madam.
Please, remember what I told you.